Welcome back, Commanders. Jeez Louise, it's been some time, hasn't it? Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Beyond All Reason. We are finally back, and boy, oh boy, does it feel good, I tell you what. So, today, in this video, obviously, we're back for real. You'll notice we're playing on Supreme, I know. And look, I don't know what's going to happen with future content. All I can say right now is, look, I'm feeling it at the moment, so you guys are going to be blessed with some content, or at least I hope you'll be blessed with some content. Let's talk about what we're doing in this video. Of course, we're playing in the Geo spot, the brand new Geo spot. It's not as compact as it used to be. They've made it a little bit worse, and that's okay. We can still get pretty good leverage in here. This strategy is a strategy that I've devised similar to previous strategies where we just look to absolutely dominate the game from Geo. The key to winning in Beyond All Reason is to be the consistent factor in every single game. You have to be the reason that your team is winning. You have to be putting out fires, or you have to be making them on the enemy side. And that's exactly what we're doing here. So this video that we're currently watching, I'm watching it along with you, I recorded it just earlier, is a video, it's a two-part video right now, today. The first part is going to be us watching this video here in VLC, and then the second part is going to be a build order guide on this, if you're actually interested in this, because I'm pretty confident this is going to be a dominant strategy. Just with regard to the people that we're playing against, you can see that we've got a wide range of people. I'm OS 35 at the moment. I've dropped down quite a bit. I think it was OS 40 when I came back. And we've got as low as an OS 6 in here. So just appreciate that, look, we're not playing with the top echelon of people, and that, look, your mileage may vary. One other thing to note is that with Supreme, it's changed a huge amount since the last time I played. And one of the things that I've noticed is that with the map design, they've definitely made they've almost made it funnel into the center a lot more. And because of that, it makes it very difficult to try and do strategies that take advantage of the water at least as much as what it used to. So anyway, that's going to be our goal today. We're going to be going for a hovercraft attack into a very quick follow-up on the T2. One thing to note is that with the meta at the moment on Supreme, it's very much focused about getting to a quick T2 from the Geo position and not necessarily going for a T2 constructor, but instead going for T2. Normally it's artillery, something like a Banisher. Snipers seem to be pretty good as well. The only trouble with snipers is they do require a lot of energy. So I've been avoiding bots T2 for arm and going into vehicles instead. But let's talk a little bit about timings. I'm going to go ahead and just turn this up a little bit because I don't even hear the music in the background. I hear the sounds going off, but have a look at this Geo timing that we've got at the moment. Normal Geo timings you can expect between 310, 330, somewhere in that region. We're pulling out a ripping 250, which is pretty damn quick. So I've obviously done quite a bit of work with this build order, try and max it as much as I can. The only thing that I think really needed to change is the orientation of our bot lab. we got a little bit caught up on our bot lab. But everything else we've got down to a pretty decent science at this stage. So at the moment, the two people in front, they're doing a good job there. They didn't let any leaks through, and that's pretty much all I can ask of a front, right? If you don't let any leaks through, that's absolutely, you've done your job, right? Even if you end up dying by 5 minutes, 6 minutes, well, that's okay. We'll do everything that we can from the Geo position to try and bring it back. So here, we've obviously accessed quite a bit of energy, but that's great because we're accessing it to our team. Our team is going to mean that if we have bad wind, that we'll be absolutely fine in here. Now we're looking to get up our production, or rather our BP. And then from here, we'll be going into hovers. And the idea here is there's realistically, I think, two ways that you can do this. The first way is that you can split your hovers, or you can put them all together and bring an anti-air hover. And I'm a big fan of this because as you get better, people, like the air player, will react to what you're doing. So if we think about it, right, a lower level air player is not going to know to make shurikens, or they might know, but they might not have the reaction time. Whereas as you get better, players will start to react to shurikens more, or with shurikens more. So it means that bringing along the anti-air hovercraft really makes a lot of sense. So I like this kind of attack, and my goal here is to completely go in and just destroy the enemy Geo player. Now that doesn't necessarily mean killing their T2 lab and their T2 constructor. The main goal for me is just hitting the Geo. If we can just pop the Geo, maybe get a couple of other things, then our mission has absolutely been served. And it means now that there's going to be a power imbalance, because the Geo is incredibly important when it comes to controlling the Strat, primarily because they are the ones that are going to be producing the artillery, whether that's 3 pieces of artillery or 10 pieces. So the timing that we're hitting will be right as their T2 is coming up. So at the moment, we're at about the 5-minute mark. So this is exactly when the T2 for the enemy will be coming up. So they'll most likely, depending on which faction they're playing, they'll be looking to go into vehicles if they're armed probably, or bots potentially if they're playing as core. Though we do obviously see vehicles from core as well. And now here we're going to be dropping down our 2-tier vehicle and looking to bomb our comm just to pick up all of the metal. And we've just sucked up the hovercraft. And from here, the key component is that we're just looking to maximize as much of our metal as we possibly can. Try and suck out metal everywhere we can. So here, we don't need the constructor, so we can get rid of it. And now while all this is happening, all of our hovers are nice and connected, and we can pretty much just set and forget this. We can queue up the advanced constructor because that's the way that we're going to play it in this game. Of course, you can mix it up. You can say, okay, well, I'm going to play into, I think in TA they were called Lugers, Mausers, that's what they're called now. So that is one of the ways that you can play. You can open with Mausers, but I find that when you're doing this kind of thing, right, like you almost want to double down a little bit. So here we begin coming through. We spot out the first of the LLTs. A little bit of a defense from the top side. We've done well just to hide our Seekers for the moment. Unfortunately, with our anti-air, you can see some Shuris do come in, but they get taken out just because of the number of Seekers that we've got. And we lose our anti-air at the back. But fortunately, the positioning of the enemy's economy is not the most optimal. And because of that, we're able to come through here. You can see he gets an LLT up, but it's not going to matter. So as long as we take out the BP, as long as we're able to hit that Geo, we're going to be absolutely fine. Meanwhile, remember at home, we've got our T2 vehicle lab up. We're doing the advanced vehicles. And we've come in right as these Sheldons are looking to try and defend. But of course, Sheldon's not particularly effective at defending when there's all of these hovers in the base. So that's pretty much it at this point. We've now really stunted the enemy Geo player. Now, keep in mind, you don't have to hit Geo, right? Like, you could go... Often, the best player on the team is typically going to play that long C position. Like, we can see right now that Brandtime, the blue player for the enemy team, he is playing in that long C position. So we could have gone and hit him with something absolutely ludicrous, especially considering the fact that more recently, people are playing in the pocket within the Strait. So if we look up over on the minimap, like they typically play around here, which means that this is well and truly open. But I just like to hit the Geo just so that it buys us a little bit more time. We can get our economy up online. So at the moment, we're at the 7-minute mark. We've got our T2 constructor out. We've got our T2 mexes coming online. And now we're going to start looking to reinforce the front with some artillery. Now, as I mentioned earlier, you can, of course, switch this around. You can go for artillery first. And it's just going to mean that you're always going to be able to outmass your opponent. Because right now, back at home, he's got no BP. I don't know whether or not he got a T2 constructor out, but I suspect he probably doesn't. But he's still got his T2 lab, so we know that much. We'll jump into the replay and have a look afterwards at the exact damage that we did. But I can guarantee you right now, we are well and truly ahead. And I've noticed that in a lot of the games, it really just comes down to which Geo dies first. And it often means that the mid will fall because of that. So here we're looking to finally grab our third advanced metal extractor, and then we're just going to look to reinforce the front with Mausers. And the idea here, the great thing about Mausers, I really like these. Now, you can technically go into penetrators or what are they called? Starlights. You can technically go into Starlights. The only trouble is that when you do this, you're really going to need to have at the very least like 2 storages and a whole lot of wind, or you're going to need to have your advanced Geo up, and that's going to take time. Whereas here, we're able to get the Mausers out straight away. They're able to start firing immediately and start pushing back the enemy. And the idea is that there's a bit of a deadlock right now in the center of the map, and we're going to be able to break that. Now, of course, there's going to be really high OS guys that are watching this and like, Drongo, why are you telling me this? I know all this stuff. Well, keep in mind, maybe this, we're going to try and cover the breadth of OS here. This may be a little bit of a strategy that could help out for people at the high level. They might like it, but we still want to provide that insight for players that are new to Beyond All Reason. Speaking of new to Beyond All Reason, it's been about 2 years since I last played, so you'll have to apologize because I'm still getting used to everything. One thing to note as well is I still have the reason why I actually left previously was just because I got a new graphics card, a 4090, and for whatever reason, Beyond All Reason, Bar, let's just say it that way, Bar was not liking it at all, and basically I could only play in windowed mode. Now, I still have that issue. Well, I should say, it wasn't that I could only play in windowed mode, I could only play in I couldn't play in full screen windowed, which is like the default way to play any game in 2025. So I couldn't do that. And because of that, it was just it ruined my mood with it. Anyway, we found our mojo again, and as a result of that, we're able to come through and bring you this today. So you can see behind the scenes, we're getting that 4th advanced mechs up. We're at the 10-minute mark now, so quite late here, and our mids have done, or our fronts have done very well to hold up until this point. If perhaps they weren't, or perhaps like the pond player on the enemy team had managed to get some stronger units through and they were starting to push back the front, then of course we're going to go into Mausers earlier. And I think it might even just be the right call to just go Mausers first always, just because the reality is once they're out, they're pushing immediately, right? Like every minute that a Mauser is out, it's pushing. So the sooner you can just get that out, the better. So even if you just go for like 2 or 3, I think it makes a lot of sense. It does delay you, obviously. Like if you're thinking about scaling, it will delay your scale. But I think it probably is the right call to do it that way. So anyway, our goal here is to scale as well. We want to try and do our best to make sure that we're able to keep up with our economy. We want to provide as much impact as we can with as little value as we can. That's what we did with the hovers. We took our opponent out very well on the Geo. And now the goal is that we're going to use the Mausers to push back middle. And at the same time, so there's not going to be, ideally, there's not going to be many Sheldons that are here. At most, there might be 2 or 3 that he got out before we actually hit him. But now at this stage, it's going to mean that there's very few backup. And we can just continue to push down, and that's exactly what's happening here. So we're doing a great job, or at least our team's doing a great job of just holding this line and just allowing us to control the Mausers. One of the things to remember is that they've got an arc, so you have to keep them on the move. Ideally, you kind of want them the same way as Starlights. You can slowly inch them forward, which definitely works. However, I like to do this thing where you kind of patrol them back and forward and just always keep your enemy on the edge of your arc. So that's my favorite way to play it. Now, with regard to base building, I've finally found the perfect base to be building in GeoSpot. Basically, the way that we're building this base is just to make sure that if our Geo does go boom, we're going to lose as little as possible. And that's what these brand new, or not these brand new, but these con turrets are going to be doing right now. All these con turrets will not die to the explosion of Geo. So that's very intentionally placed. So towards the middle, we're going to continue pushing. We're going to get out a couple more Mausers now that we've completed our advanced Geo, and that's, of course, going to provide energy to our entire team. So they're going to be all happy as well. And, of course, you can look to try and take further advantage of that. So at the moment, as an example, you can see we have got quite a bit of energy that's stacked up there. So we could have put more E-converters down, but it's not really that necessary, because even though with your energy, it's technically wasted, it's not, because it's going to your allies. It's only when they actually reach their max. But look, even then, it's really not a waste, because if you get bad wind, if wind goes down to 7 like it is right now, then people are going to start bleeding energy, and you're going to be able to cover them. So I definitely don't think it's a bad idea not to go into energy converters here. So once we've finished up with a diplomat, or what are these? Are these diplomats or ambassadors? I think they're called ambassadors now. Sorry. It's funny, right? You can play bar for a year, 2 years, and you get used to all the names, but then you stop playing and everything just reverts back to Total Annihilation names in your head, because I guess those are seared in my brain just simply because, well, it's Total Annihilation. I played it for like 10 years of my life when I was a kid. Gosh, it's crazy to think that. It came out in 1997. How insane is that? But anyway, you can see we've got a decent number of Mausers here on the front, and we're just going to use this to continue hitting the enemy's position, try and push back their army, continue pushing back their towers. And meanwhile, behind this, obviously, we're booming. We're going into Aphis. Now, I am aware that there's been some new research done that says that going into fusions earlier than Aphis is actually better. So that is something that I need to probably do a little bit more research into and find out. I remember reading that the king number was 150 metal. Once you've made it over 150 metal a second, then the Aphis becomes better to be investing in. And the idea behind that is purely because the fusion, the energy is going to come out from it faster, and then you're going to be able to take advantage of that energy sooner, which definitely makes sense, right? Obviously, if we're looking at pure numbers, then the Aphis definitely makes sense. But yeah, that when we consider factors like that, it definitely swings it. So here towards the middle, we've got the push continuing to come through. Unfortunately for our opponent here, he's gone for T2 on the front. And normally it's not the position that you want to try and go for. Commander's there as well, probably going to be exploding soon. Aphis timing here is not too bad. We're looking at about a 15-minute Aphis timing, which is not terrible. It's pretty decent. Of course, I guess one of the other things to consider is maybe you could go into bots. The trouble is if you go into bots as ARM, you're going to have to play very specifically into snipers. I don't think there's any real alternative. I mean, technically you could go into Mavericks. What are they called? Gunslingers. but I don't think it's got the same leverage. So there we go, 1455 on the Aphis. We're going to throw down our anti-nuke. We actually forgot to put down our 4th row of con turrets, but that's okay. We'll allow the OCD to let us go, and now we're going to be following up all of our forces at the front with our recon box, or with our reclaim bots. This is like one of the most key things whenever you're doing big pushes, is to make sure that you're bringing reclaim bots with you, just because you're able to suck up so much metal. So here at the moment, where our metal's going to go pretty troppo, I'm sure we'll get back there eventually towards the front. You can see all of our reclaim bots now just sucking up all those troops that we've been able to take out with our Mausers. And we've achieved our goal here, right? Like, we've destroyed their front. We can go through and try and finish the game with our Mausers, but they can very easily get caught off guard. So I much prefer to play it safe with the Mausers and just bring them back and just leave them as that sort of line of defense. But of course, it's not going to matter because we've absolutely rolled over the front. We've rolled over the Geo, and now their best player on their team, Brand Time, OS31, he's going to have to defend here on land. But you can see that there's already tanks that are back there, and it just makes it very hard in this position. So we are well and truly ahead, and because of that, the game is going to be over right here. So we're going to go ahead. I'll just pause it here, and we're just going to Alt-Tab straight back into this game, and we're just going to run through the build order quickly. If you're interested in maybe bringing this strategy into your rotation, because when it comes to like playing Geo, it's a way of life. You got lots of different strats that you can do from here. This is one of them. So let's get into it and take a look at how we start. So one of the things to note is that when we position our mexes, we always want to position our mexes at the top of these metal deposits, and that's because we can actually place 2 con turrets right next to each other over here, and it can hit all 3 of these mexes. I don't think that was intended, but it is possible. So from here, can we turn this up? I think I've got it muted. Give me a second here. Yes, we've got it muted. Oh my lord, that's so much louder than what I expected. It's still so loud. Is it loud, or is it just me? I'm just checking the levels. Yeah, it's loud. Okay, so we start with 2 mexes. When it comes to wind, I've seen people do this on 2 winds before, and you definitely can do it on 2 winds. But one of the things to keep in mind is that you definitely want to be finishing your bot lab and having a full energy bar. So at the moment, we've got... Oh, let's switch that back. There we go. At the moment, we're pushing in on 14 wind. So this is definitely a good opportunity for us to go with this. I don't really have a general rule, but I find it's better to be safe than to be sorry. There's nothing worse than putting down like 2 mills or 3 windmills, and then wind just completely flips the moment you start a bot lab. And it's just like, there's nothing worse. And there are always like people that are technically like bleeding or sharing energy with you, but I think it just makes so much more sense to do that. There's no real cost to you. Obviously, there's a slight delay, but the reality is we can just pump out Lazarus. So from here, we go into 3 Lazarus, then into 2 construction bots, and then into a 4th Lazarus. And they're just going to come out down onto these trees, very intentionally placed. So just a small loop here, and then a small and a larger circle over here. 2nd Lazarus comes out, does the same thing. 3rd Lazarus, going to go collect rocks. So we do the 2 rocks here, and then we'll come up and do this instead of going up to here. So that's an error, don't worry. First bot is going to come out, and you can see that we're building windmills in between all of these units, if ever our energy goes a little bit low. So first bot will come out, he'll come up, build a mex, and then start eating. And our second one is going to come out, get blocked. This has never happened to me once in practice. And I was like, of course it happens in the game that we're playing. And we're going to throw down an energy converter as well. So we're a little bit behind, but that's, not a huge issue. So at this stage here, you can see that we've got our 3 Lazarus out. We've got our 2 con bots out. And we've now got our 4th Lazarus that's coming out. And the idea is that we're going to be sucking up all this energy. After we've dropped the blueprint, we come out with our 2nd con turret, and we're going to be building this as close as we can to the Geo, and the same with this one. We're building it as close as we can to the Geo. And here you can see, instead of going for these rocks, we actually did come over here. And the idea is we need to have as much energy as we possibly can here. You can see that we're struggling to get it up, but because we've got 4 of these Lazarus all in different forests, it's going to be empowering our energy, and we're going to be doing a really good job of keeping this up. And the sooner that this comes online, the better. It means everybody else is going to be immune to wind, and it also means that we're going to be able to get these energy converters online. But once we know, okay, we're doing okay, we can then come back out over onto the rocks. So that's the game plan there. The first thing that we do is immediately drop down energy converters, just because it's going to use more of our energy than if we were to go for a con turret. And we're also going to come back and look to suck up our bot lab. just with our closest Lazarus. This guy's going to go over onto energy. And here we're going to start working on our construction turret. A little bit of idle time right here. We'll fix it up. Do not fret. And we want to just make sure that we go up to, I've determined it around like 6 to 7 makes the most sense when it comes to this. One thing to note is that you'll go quite close on your metal when you're sucking up your lab. So you could technically leave this for a little bit later, but you know, there's no point in eating trees right now. We're already maxing out our energy, so we don't have to be too worried about that. Let me just turn down the music. So now that we're about to finish our 6th energy converter, we've still got everybody here over on the trees. Front is doing a great job of holding, and we've got our second con turret down. So this first con turret, you can see it will hit all 3. This second con turret will also hit all 3. And it means that we can just get all 3 of these down nice and easily. And now we go into our hovercraft platform at 350. So just a quick pause of the game. When we drop down the hovercraft platform, let's check where our opponent is. Now, keep in mind, he's only OS 17. Tomcat, he's still working on getting good at the game and improving. And he's going to take some time to get there. But you can see, right, Geo's still not yet up. So a little bit behind on where he should be. But we'll ride back on board with us, and that is not what we wanted to do. Well, turn off player cam and continue along on our journey here. So now that we've done that, the focus is that we want to try and spend our metal as quickly as we can. We want to get all of our units up here as quickly as we can. And because of that, we've got an excess of build power here, which means that we don't need all this build power. We're going to be easily able to spend our metal. So once we get down to 0 metal, that's when we'll start to reclaim this build power, because we don't need the construction bot, because we will be building a construction hovercraft, so we can reclaim both of these. You can technically also reclaim your Lazarus. I'm not a fan of that, though. I feel like a Lazarus is just such an incredible unit. By far, like one of the best units in the game. And reclaiming it this early doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. So you can see now that we're starting to get a little bit low, we'll reclaim our bot. We've so far made 10 of our lovely little hovercraft out here already. So there's the 11th one coming out now, 12th one, and we're getting very close. The idea is that ideally what happens is we want to get all of our military units out and then hit 0 metal. And then from there, we're going to be looking to reclaim our bot or our hover lab, and then drop down our advanced vehicle plant. So we'll put that down here. And that's essentially the goal. And then after that's done, then we can blow the commander, because if you blow the commander before the hovercraft lab gets sucked up, you will lose metal. You will not have enough metal for it. So now they're able to sink that in. And now we can focus on these, because at this point, all we really need to do is queue up a construction vehicle or a couple of Mausers, depending on how you want to play it, blow up our commander, and then tell our Lazarus to come in here and eat that. And we don't have to do anything for another minute in here. It's going to take some time for us to hit T2. Now it means that we can go and focus on the other side. So if we ride on board with Tomcat, they do see these hovers incoming. It does get called out. There's not a whole lot of ships out here. So unfortunately for Nee, he's not really covering that well. And well, it's not that he's not covering that well. It's just that he doesn't have a huge amount of units out. And we do have a little bit of, where's that music? I tell you what, when the music goes, you definitely notice it. So we run into our first LLT. And back here, you can see we're at 6 minutes. So this is actually quite a late lab. So look, probably not the best demonstration here. I just figured, you know what, I've been in the mood to make a video for a while now, and I felt like, you know, we kind of need something that be able to show you how to do something good. And I figured, you know what, this is a decent example of it. Now, in this position, in this response, you'd expect that the response from Geo would indeed be to go into Fiends. But you're not always going to have the metal free to do that, especially if you're making Sheldons. And you can see he's got the one Sheldon out for the moment, and yeah, it's a tough gig for him at the moment, because now he's lost 1, 2, 3, 4 mexes, lost the Geo. All he's got left are the wins, and he's very lucky that the Geo took out our Skeeters. Not Skeeters, what are they called? They're called Seekers. Because he could have lost absolutely everything, because right now he's 0-0. And this is not building. You can see what I mean about stalling out the enemy, right? And when you come in with 15 Seekers, the idea is that, like, you want to hit this guy, you want to hit this guy, and you want to hit this guy. Anyway, let's head back. If you can take out the Geo, that's the main thing. Obviously, back towards the main base now, we are just focused on getting the advanced metal constructors up. We're going to turn the priority of these onto high priority, because we always want to make sure that they are getting the priority when it comes to the metal. So we'll put the advanced construction vehicle onto low priority, and that way it'll guarantee that we've got this guy that's moving around, and we're now able to do that. So if you compare the pair at the moment, obviously, as I mentioned, Tomcat was already a little bit behind here, and struggling to get on board. He's got the construction bot out now, but yeah, for him to rebuild, it's definitely going to take quite a bit of time. You can see Front's also doing well. So, I mean, at the end of the day, I want to say that, you know, this is a decent example here. I haven't played a whole lot of games just yet, so hopefully I can actually bring you guys some games where there's decent players in there. I obviously don't want to show all my cards before that happens, but anyway, so we'll speed it up a little bit here, just to go through, because now it has come in. I think the most important part is just getting this 4th advanced mechs down. I don't think you need to go into the advanced geothermal that early. As you can see, the Mausers are now starting to come out. We'll speed it up, and from here, we're just going to share this off to our allies, ask them for a little bit of metal. That'll help push our Mausers into mid. We've got all of our advanced metal constructors online here, and you can see that we are just absolutely pumping at this point. And because of that, it makes us very happy campers. So yeah, we can just go check in with Tomcat one more time. You can see he's managed to get the construction turrets back up. He's gone for the advanced constructor here, trying to get back online. He's got a decent amount of energy in the bank, but it's going to be very hard. It's going to take a long time for him to rebuild, especially with our Mausers on the front now, starting to knock on enemies' door. So that is essentially it. If you've got any questions, leave them down below. If you've got any comments or any criticism, feel free to leave it there. I know you guys definitely don't hesitate to. So yeah, go ahead. Feel free to do it. And we'll catch you in the next one. Thank you very much for watching. And welcome back, Commanders.